More than 230 wildfires are burning across the Northwest Territories. The hamlet of Enterprise on the Hay River, about 30 kilometers south of Great Slave Lake, is reported to be 90% destroyed. Several other communities are also being threatened, and the capital, Yellowknife, has declared a local state of emergency. Numerous evacuation orders are in place, and the Canadian military is set to arrive to help fight those fires. For more on this, let's bring in the CBC's Sarah Galashan. Sarah, we just got an update from officials in the Northwest Territories. What's the latest?
Well, so the area that is of greatest affected right now is in the area that is the south of Slave Lake region. And that is, we're talking about communities like Hay River, which is the largest in that area, but also the N.W.T First Nation, the Salt River First Nation, Jean Marie River, Fort Smith, and Enterprise. And you talked about Enterprise right up there off the top. There is not an official confirmation on number of structures, businesses, homes that have been lost to wildfire. The Northwest Territory wildfire website has described the wildfire in Enterprise as engulfing Enterprise, and CBC has spoken by phone with the mayor of Enterprise. A very emotional time for him as he tells us that he believes most of Enterprise is now gone. But take a listen.
About between 85 and 90% of the community is gone. I've started telling people the bad news. It's hard. We're a very close-knit community. We're all friends, and it's painful. As long as we're okay and breathing, we'll fix everything.
More than or about 230 active wildfires right now in Northwest Territories, and 120 members of the military either there or deploying to help with what is expected to be extreme wildfire activity today and perhaps throughout the week, given the conditions they're seeing. Hay River does remain a concern in this area. As I say, it is the largest populated community in the South Slave Lake region. Right now, there is wildfire burning about 15 kilometers away. If the wind shifts, what we're hearing from the mayor of Hay River, that there's real concern because there are, despite the evacuation order, she believes about 500 people who have decided to remain in Hay River. And right now there's no food, no fuel, no pharmacies, no health care, and no communication, importantly. So if things become more dangerous, very difficult to alert any of those who remain in Hay River that they need to leave. And they can't leave by road right now. The road access out of Hay River is cut off. There are evacuation flights, and she is urging people to be at the airport for 3 p.m. local time to get on board one of those evacuation flights, and saying that she is disappointed that the people who remain do so because they are putting first responders potentially at risk, Christine. Should they need either to be rescued or need medical help, then attention has to be focused on them potentially as opposed to fighting the wildfires, which could be approaching.
Incredibly dangerous situation there. I saw on the map there, Sarah, Yellowknife. What more do we know about the situation in the capital city?
Well, so we know that late yesterday, fire breached the control lines that have been set outside of Yellowknife, an area of Boundary Creek, which is about 30 kilometers outside to the west of Yellowknife. So the west side of Yellowknife is where there is the most concern, but this is not, they have declared a state of emergency as of late yesterday. The mayor at pains to make it clear that that's not an evacuation alert or an order. So no one is to leave at this moment. What they have done is declare a state of emergency so that they can repurpose the contractors that they have employed to move over to working on fire breaks outside of the city to the west side. And right now what they are doing is clear cutting an area of 100 meters on the west side that spans a certain amount. They are also sprinkling that area. Because of the local state of emergency they've declared, they have moved from 4 contractors to 12, and the mayor is pleased with the work that is underway right now in terms of putting up those protections. If they have to, they will widen that fire break. But again, she has said that right now this is not an alert or an order. They have many means of communicating that should it come to that. But right now they are focused in right now on these protection measures for Yellowknife. Christine?
It's a lot to keep an eye on. Thanks for this, Sarah.
You bet.
CBC's Sarah Galashan. Natasha Cleary had to flee the hamlet of Enterprise with her 6 children. She also lost her home to the wildfire. Cleary, who evacuated her family to Grand Prairie, Alberta, says it hasn't all sunk in yet.
It just didn't feel real. We had basically like an hour to get out. We had the warning delivered to us, and then 10 minutes later we got the alert to leave right away, and we were throwing as much as we could into our camper and trying to get out as fast as we could. It was scary. I can't even believe it. It's like something you see out of the movies. It doesn't feel real, and like I feel so bad for everybody, and I don't know what we're gonna do, but I know we'll get through it. It was hard, but you've got to stay strong for your kids so that their emotional well-being is okay. We grabbed a few pairs of clothes. We grabbed our 2 dogs, and we had a cat with 5 kittens and our bearded dragon, and that's really about it. We're all keeping in touch, and Enterprise is a really strong community when we work together, and I know in time we're going to figure it all out. We had a fire one year and we were on the brink of evacuation, but we were lucky we didn't have to then. And this time it feels like a bad dream. I think the hardest thing is just not knowing what's next, not knowing what we're going to do with our kids. And I don't know. I'm just speechless.